You're not failing at your job because of laziness or incompetence. Sometimes, here's the real reason. Narcissists know exactly how to bully and control you at work. And here are the 10 ways they do it. Let's start with their common tactic: credit stealing. Narcissists often steal recognition at work to gain admiration they haven't earned. They subtly present your hard work as their own by using vague language like "we" or "I had this idea." While they contribute little to nothing, they position themselves as the brains behind the success. It leads leadership to associate your achievements with them. This tactic not only boosts their image, but also slowly undermines your credibility, making it appear as though they're the true contributor. Over time, it can damage your reputation and leave you feeling invisible, while they rise on the back of your efforts. How many times have you stayed silent while someone else took your spotlight? And why? That pain often leads straight into another struggle, one that feels just as heavy. Public humiliation. Sometimes, narcissists won't even bother being subtle. They'll embarrass you publicly in meetings, group chats, or even in front of leadership. They might mock your suggestion, question your knowledge, or call attention to a mistake in a way that makes you look incompetent. And even if they laugh afterward and say, "Just kidding," everyone knows they weren't. The goal is not just to put you in your place. It's to show everyone else who's boss. By humiliating you, they send a message to others: "Don't cross me." It creates a culture of fear and silence where no one dares to challenge them. Over time, this kind of humiliation chips away at your confidence and makes you hesitant to speak up. You start playing small just to avoid being a target, and things only get more complicated when you add this into the picture. Exploiting confidential information. Narcissists often disguise themselves as empathetic listeners, but there's always a hidden agenda. They'll encourage you to open up about your struggles, challenges, or even personal trauma under the guise of friendship or mentorship. But later, that information becomes ammunition. Maybe you told them you were struggling with anxiety, and next thing you know, they're joking about it in a meeting, saying, "Well, we all know how overwhelmed you get." They do this to shame you and create doubt about your professionalism. And since it's done in a backhanded, often sarcastic way, it's hard to confront without sounding overly sensitive. It sends a clear message: "I know your secrets, and I'll use them when it suits me." That can make you start closing off from others, afraid to confide in anyone for fear it might come back to haunt you. Over time, this isolates you emotionally and gives the narcissist more power. Do you tend to overshare with your coworker? If so, how did it affect your work life? That pain often leads straight into another struggle, one that feels just as heavy. Smear campaigns. Narcissists don't just want to succeed, they want to ensure you don't. When they feel threatened by your competence, charm, or rising popularity, they often resort to smear campaigns. These are subtle, sneaky efforts to tarnish your reputation behind your back. It might be a whisper in a manager's ear, or a concerned comment about your behavior. At first, it's hard to tell what's happening, until you realize people are treating you differently. They'll often frame these digs as caring observations, like, "I'm just worried they might not be handling the pressure well." This sows doubt without ever making an outright accusation. The cruel part is, it happens in the shadows, so you can't even defend yourself. Your credibility starts eroding quietly, and by the time you figure out what's going on, the damage is already done. That's the real power of a narcissist's smear campaign. It isolates you and makes others question your stability. If someone is trying to quietly ruin your name, is it worth your time and energy to defend and explain yourself to everybody? What follows isn't easy to talk about, but it's something too many victims live with in silence. Backhanded compliments. Narcissists love delivering what sounds like praise, but it's really a dig in disguise. They might say things like, "You're actually really good at that, for someone your age," or, "I didn't expect you to pull that off. Well done." At first, it sounds positive, but then the sting hits. It's meant to make you feel both complimented and insulted at the same time. These backhanded compliments are a form of psychological warfare. They create confusion and insecurity, making you question your abilities or whether you're being too sensitive. Over time, this messes with your self-esteem and makes you seek their approval even more. You start craving clear, genuine praise, and they control when or if you get it. It's manipulation, plain and simple. And while that battle is obvious, there's a quieter one happening at the same time. Isolation. A common tool in the narcissist's arsenal is social isolation. They won't come right out and tell people to avoid you. Instead, they'll influence the group in subtle ways. You may find yourself left out of group lunches, team chats, or casual conversations. You're not CC'd on important emails. You only hear about team meetings after they've already happened. This exclusion sends a message to the rest of the team. Don't get too close to this person. It's a quiet form of bullying, and it can make work feel incredibly lonely. Even worse, your exclusion makes it easier for the narcissist to control the narrative about you. With no one in your corner, they can say whatever they want, and others are more likely to believe it. But beneath that, there's a truth that often gets overlooked. Weaponizing policies and procedures. Policies are supposed to create fairness, but narcissists use them as tools of manipulation. They'll enforce the rules strictly on you, while conveniently ignoring them for themselves or their allies. Maybe they report you to HR for being 5 minutes late, while their favorite coworker rolls in 20 minutes late every day with no issue. It's not about the rules, it's about control. They become experts at using company policy to their advantage. They might document your minor mistakes, highlight your absences, or accuse you of not being a team player, even if you're doing nothing wrong. Meanwhile, their own misconduct is overlooked or covered up. This selective enforcement can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. It's not about justice, it's about domination. Would you try to speak up by revealing the narcissist's violations, or just shrink and let injustice prevail? That's tough enough on its own, but paired with this next struggle, it feels almost unbearable. Micromanaging and undermining. While some micromanagers just struggle with trust, narcissists micromanage to dominate. They constantly watch over your shoulder, second-guess your decisions, and rewrite your work. Not because it's wrong, but because they need control. They'll frame it as being helpful or just making sure it's perfect. But the real message is, you can't be trusted to do this right without me. And over time, you may start to believe that. They often nitpick the smallest details, creating a sense that everything you do is flawed. Even when your work is solid, they find ways to fix it so it looks like they improved it. That constant undermining wears down your confidence and can make you feel like you're failing, even when you're not. Meanwhile, to everyone else, it looks like the narcissist is just being thorough. But it's not about quality. It's about control and making sure you never outshine them. What makes it worse is how this next pattern sneaks in quietly, without warning. Sabotaging career progression. Narcissists don't just want to succeed. They want you stuck. They fear anyone who might surpass them, so they quietly sabotage your chances for advancement. They may withhold positive feedback, give vague criticisms, or leave out key achievements on your performance reviews. When it comes time for promotions or raises, they make sure you're passed over. What makes this especially hard to fight is that it all happens behind the scenes. You might hear later that they told leadership you're not quite ready or don't take initiative, even though they've never said a word to you. It's confusing because you thought you were doing well, but they've carefully planted seeds of doubt that keep you from moving forward. And the worst part, you don't even see it coming until it's too late. What if your career stagnation isn't about your ability, but someone else's insecurity? And here's the surprising part. Most victims don't even realize this is happening. Overloading with unrealistic expectations. Narcissists often set you up to fail by assigning unmanageable workloads or impossible deadlines under the guise of flattery, saying things like, "I know you can handle it." This manipulative tactic plays on your need to prove yourself, leading to overwork, stress, and burnout. If you miss the deadline, they criticize your performance. If you succeed, they claim it wasn't good enough. Either way, you lose, because the goal was never success, but control. Dealing with a narcissist at work can leave you doubting your skills, your worth, and even your sanity. But it's not you, it's them. Now that you know the signs, you can start setting boundaries, speaking up, and protecting your peace. So the real question is, what small step will you take today to stop letting someone else step on you at work?